Or do you?
Holy cow, look at us. It's another week of depression and football. It's Hogging the Mic. I'm your host, Eddie Jenkins, with your other host, Kenneth J. Paltrow the third. How's, yep, you're drinking straight from the bottle now. That's how it's going. Are you faking? Was that real? Is that a real drink?
This is the real look. It's Russian
What is that?
vodka, because it's the only thing that makes the memories go away.
Okay. I'm kind of proud of you for drinking on a Monday. Anyway, well, Kenny's going to get more fun, it looks like, as this goes on. Max, how you doing, buddy?
I have.
It may have been Cheez-Its. It was never Ritz, though.
Should have got some Ritz.
I know. I looked in my pantry. I couldn't find any. I figured that was the next best thing.
I'm more of a duos guy, though. Like, I'm more of a duos guy when I get those. You know, I got to get like the Pepper Jack Cheez-Its. Those are the best, I think. Like, I don't like the ones with the ridges. Those are weird.
We're all gimmicks now, by the way.
We're all gimmicks?
It's all gimmicks.
All gimmicks? Bag full of gimmicks?
Better than TNA Impact gimmicks.
Oh, that's don't go there. Don't kick them while they're already down. Jesus. But yeah, here we are. Who would have thought that coming into the last game before the bye week that it might already be over? Who would have thought it would be this bad? It's almost over, guys. And what a funny way for it to go. So, how many yards of offense did they have total? It was like more than 400, right?
Yeah, it was like 1,562,000 or something like that. And yeah,
and 10 points. They didn't punt the whole game.
Yeah, and then they decided to kick a field goal like at the very end. It's like you forfeited your chance to kick field goals how many times, and then let's just kick one for fun at the very end.
Yeah, and like, and let's just start it off with something that, like, I think is poor coaching, and you've noticed it happen every week. They'll win the friggin' toss and then they'll defer. Since when has this team been a team that plays well from behind? Why wouldn't you want to take it first?
I think so.
But come on, that's a serious question. No, I'm asking a serious question. Why would you do? Why? They're not good at playing from behind, obviously. So why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want to score first?
Why would they defer?
Yeah, why do they keep doing it over and over?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like there's always a football advantage. Granted, we're not a football team. It's
exactly,
ironic when I say that.
And they're really bad from behind.
There's a football advantage to deferring. Not us.
Eddie, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same damn thing over and over, and that's all they keep doing. Like Kenny.
Expecting it to change. Jeez.
Poor Marcy.
I really would. Yeah, I know, right? Never gonna get a grandkid.
Listen, so I'm gonna defend Rivera in saying that, but this whole podcast, the theme of this podcast is I'm gonna take a lot of deuces on Rivera's chest tonight.
Well, that's gross.
Like, this all seems very Russian to you.
So what are you defending? You like the call to defer?
So two things I'm going to defend, and then that's the last nice thing I say about him.
What a weird hill to die on, like the defer call. It's a bad one. They keep doing the same thing over and over. It's stupid.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm less impressed with that. What's the verb of deferring? The deferition? The deferition of the football. Like that I don't care about as much, but like you should do that. You win a toss, you get the ball in the second half because you're supposed to go in with all the momentum and you're supposed to be winning. You're supposed to not be 2-5.
Not when your defense is like the worst.
Well, it's going to be on the field at some point. They can't just be like, we want offense and then offense again, because then we might score 0 points. His decision to go for it multiple times, I'm going to defend. That was the correct call, coaching wise.
Well, I want to go back to the deferring thing, because basically I agree with Eddie on this. What we're saying is we've played from behind all season. We see how poorly it goes. Let's take a chance, try to get a lead, put the team that we're playing in that position. I mean, it could go horribly wrong. Obviously, like we could punt after 4 plays and then or turn it over on downs or whatever we do. But let's try something different. What we're doing is not working. So
yeah, and they keep winning the freaking toss. They keep doing it over and over.
That's the thing we've got going for us.
Yeah, that's the only thing they win, and of course it's usually McLaurin that makes the call. So
number 1 toss team.
Yeah.
Don't say that again.
We have a 99 in Madden on coin toss.
we were supposed.
It's like a 2 rating. It says coin toss 99.
We were supposed to be the team that puts the defense on the field and makes those plays, though, but we're not. So we got to change our identity. Rivera and his "I'm going to change things" going into this week consisted of what? Putting in Collins at linebacker and getting a kicker that
don't call me a linebacker, Collins. They should call him unemployed next week. That'd be nice. But let's break it down. They didn't punt all game, which sucks. We didn't get to see our Pro Bowler out there on the field doing his thing. We're always proud of Tress. But the play on offense, a lot of the play was really good. Some of the plays were slightly less vanilla, but still not great, I didn't think. They got a little bit they did a couple end arounds there in a row, it felt like, at one point. But it didn't really feel like they were doing too much. But Taylor Heineke looked decent, and then he also looked like a rookie at times. How are you guys feeling about him? Are you still there? Are you on the train to let him keep going, or people? I know a lot of people were talking about Kyle Allen, and he was trending after the game this last week.
I
never start Kyle Allen.
Yeah,
that's my thought.
I'm not on the jumping to Kyle Allen bandwagon yet, but it's kind of like Heineke. The definition of Heineke, he makes enough plays to make you want him to come back and keep playing, so you can see if he can do more. But then at the same time, he makes these awful mistakes that makes you feel like he's never going to truly get over the hump and be the franchise guy. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, and just so you know, his numbers were he's 25 for 37, 268 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT. He also had 10 carries, 95 yards, averaging 9.5 a carry. Not too bad. He had 2 fumbles and lost 1. So, a bit of a mixed bag there from him. Something like he pulled a Deshaun Jackson there on the goal line a little bit.
Yeah, those statistics right there kind of make me wonder what we could do with, let's say, Josh Allen. If we had a legit quarterback that can make the passes, make the runs. I mean, really, what could we do if you replaced?
Having a quarterback that plays at that level as one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, that lets you be deficient in other areas, and he can cover up for it. But they simply don't have that guy, and not many people do. And I don't know where that guy's ever going to come from at this point.
So I think I was thinking about this today. Taylor Heineke is Kirk Cousins on steroids in every sense of the word. It's like Kirk Cousins, I feel like, would play a pretty moderate game and then blow it at the end. And Taylor Heineke does that 4 times in the same possession. There's 4 plays where I'm like, holy cow, to steal an Eddie Jenkins quote. He does 4 plays that on a drive where I'm like, that was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And then he turns around and poops a football out. And we're like, whoops, can't do that. And then the next drive, he does 5 incredible plays, scores a touchdown. And the next drive, poops a football out again. And you're like, if you stop pooping footballs, we would win a game. There were 7 plays that made the game go from a 55-7 team victory to whatever we witnessed on Sunday. 7. They were the most absurd plays I've ever seen. Going from a dumb rule that exists, but Heine should know better. And he slid and he did a fetal position. And then we do a quarterback sneak where he fumbles the ball. There's a play where he throws a great pass, and hits McLaurin in the head. And McLaurin goes, whoops, I don't have arms today, or this moment. Just like, then we have like two back-to-back plays of 48-yard gains with clean fumbles.
Yep.
Stop doing that. That is what 17 teams
do. Let's go ahead and say it's an issue with Gibson. Yeah. It's an issue.
I was going to say, speaking of pooping footballs, Gibson tends to do that at least once a game, I feel like.
And like just in the most dagger plays too. It's oh, we've got momentum.
Yeah. And
also, here you go. Jaime, I love the dude. It was that like a reverse that went like 40 yards, and who recovers the football? Heineke. And it's like, this guy is 6 passes a game away from being Josh Allen. The problem is those are the hardest 6 passes to make. And instead of them just not being made, they're incomplete or fumbles or interceptions when they're like wide open guys. And it's just like, dude, if you could just complete these 6 plays, we would be a much better team. But I still don't blame him because our defense stinks.
The defense is universally horrible.
Heineke, like, I love the dude, love the hustle, like diving on that fumble 40 yards down the field, like you said, was amazing. Like I was just amazed. I was like, he's the one that came up with that fumble. But then like you said, I mean, he fumbled on a quarterback sneak that kind of cost us, getting the 7. He saw a Cheez-It on the ground and decided to dive for that instead of across the goal line.
I mean, wouldn't you if it was a pepper jack one?
Well, yeah, it definitely has to be the right kind.
Cracker.
Yeah,
it was never Ritz.
It's just kind of sad that I see all this talent, all this playmaking ability, and he just has a ceiling. The ceiling is.
I don't know if it's a ceiling or if he's like legit a rookie and he's going to get better from things. Like I think what you'll see is if he actually gets to continue after Ryan Fitzpatrick gets cleared or not. I think you'll either see him get better or you'll just see him kind of like he's plateaued. This is it. Like you'll know. I think either way, you'll know at the end of the season if he keeps going, and I think they need to know because Ryan Fitzpatrick, is he even going to be on the team next year? Probably not.
I'll tell you one amazing thing about Heineke. For a fact that no matter what happens, that we're going to have a competent backup. Yeah. Even if he's not the starter, we're going to feel good if the starter goes down, that we have somebody that can come in and make plays.
Yeah. Exactly. Like I think that's something that's important. Unless he, wants to leave for some reason. But hopefully not.
I'm looking at Heineke he's like a mansion, except he's a mansion that's covered full of rubble and trash, and there's a lot to clean up in there. And maybe it's impossible. Maybe it's too much of a project. But if you were to clean that up, I think he'd be a really, really good quarterback. Like I said, there's a few plays here and there that if you just take out, which is insane to say because they're going to exist. He plays a very good game for 90% of the game. And then there's 10%, which might not even be that bad, but they're killers. They're absolute killers. That red zone, if you put Josh Allen on our team for 6 plays, like I was saying, 6 plays, we win that game by 4 touchdowns.
I mean, and you saw the stat when they got down into the red zone against the Packers for the first time in the game. It was 15 trips were made this year against the Packers, and it's been 15 touchdowns until this game.
Yeah, and we went like 1 for 5?
It's so comedic. It's so comedic.
The coordinator was sitting over there coughing COVID all over their defenders.
Yeah, Effing Joe Barry. God, I hate Joe Barry.
Of course, it was Joe Barry.
Like, I wish you a speedy recovery from COVID, you idiot. But like, I hate him. I hate him.
I hate him too.
God.
Hey, let me ask you, Kenny.
Remember when we were promised like a really good defensive coordinator,
and it was Joe Barry,
and then they're like, "Well, how about Joe Barry?" And then we all said, "We don't like that. We'll give him a few games." And like one game, and you're like, "Bad."
I remember that because we hung out the day that happened. It was like one of the random times we hung out in DC, and it was just like, and we were just like, ugh. Like I think the whole night we would just like randomly shit talk Joe Barry. Like there became drinks with berries in them, and we were just like, this is shitty like Joe Barry.
That's a good pastime. Let me ask you, Kenny. So in your Heineke mansion, would a off season of a Would an off season of a janitor, like I say, Peyton Manning, clean up that mansion?
Is Peyton Manning coaching or playing football for us?
He would be coaching Heineke for an off season.
So let me tell you what ideal situation at the Heineke Mansion is. When I vacation at the Heineke Mansion, I want to stay there for max 3-4 years before it crumbles to dust. I also do want an old butler that does work there. Like, I mean, we're not getting paid.
Is this Wayne Manor?
What?
Is this Wayne Manor? Is he Batman?
Yeah, I want an Alfred to just like tuck me into bed at night, mostly to tuck Heineke in the bed at night for like a couple years, and then when Heineke dies in the mansion, we bring in a baby into that mansion, and he thrives in a clean mansion after Heineke dies of old age.
Two things. I'm just glad you've seen Batman, number one. And number two.
Yeah, ask him which Batman. He's like George Clooney, probably.
Could that baby be Marcy's adopted grandkid?
What's that?
I said, could that baby be Marcy's adopted grandkid?
Adopted more, but much more of a chance.
All right.
for so many reasons.
Go ahead and chug away there, Kenny.
Ziggy zaggy, oi oi oi. Yeah, it's a mixed bag with him. At least they'll have a backup. I don't know if anybody's gonna really arise as far as being like a great collegiate prospect here the next year. It looks like the team's gonna have a fairly high draft pick. I think they invest there if it's there. If not, maybe they get somebody on the open market. I know a couple veterans are going to be out there. Probably Matt Ryan said he wants out of Atlanta. I don't know if you go there. Is he competent? Absolutely. Is he great? Not at all. I don't know. Would you say Matt Ryan? Would you say Matt Ryan is better or worse than Fitzpatrick? I'm gonna say better. I'm gonna say better than Fitzpatrick.
I would have said that 5 years ago.
We need to find we need to just keep continuing to put first round picks as quarterbacks. We need to find our Joe Burrow, our Josh Allen.
I mean, but they knew Joe Burrow was supposed to be good. Like, I don't know if they're going to get that option this year unless they like bomb out 2 years in a row.
We just need. I seriously would just spend first round picks on quarterbacks. Like even if they don't pan out, you trade them for a second or third rounder down the road.
I don't know. Is there anybody else that's going to be on the market that you think would be like an option that you would be excited about? Like, would you go for a Marcus Mariota?
It's not the long-term answer. We gotta. I get what you're trying to do. You want to.
Yeah. I'm just saying because if you're going into the draft and it's not there, you don't want to reach and just like waste a first rounder when you can actually still build the team. I think there's still spots that need to be filled. Like they could probably use they could use a quarterback maybe at the first spot. I think that helps you a lot. That makes your, and they got a hit on linebacker this time because right now Jamie Davis has made 2 plays.
2 plays, and then he was responsible for a touchdown himself this last game.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be seeing him run for the touchdown as a pick 6, but it's kind of working the opposite way.
They should have kept Kerrigan.
I totally agree with the announcer a couple weeks ago. We build our team backwards every single time. We try to get all these pieces. We try to do all this stuff, and then we try to do the quarterback last. And when it's finally time to get the quarterback, we build enough good pieces around to be picking 15th. And then we miss out on all the good quarterbacks, and then we're stuck being 2-6 at the bye again.
So what if this is the option? What if this is the option this year? Like I want to talk about possible options because the season's almost over. If we're gonna it's
not Halloween yet.
Yeah, exactly. That's how sad it is.
The easy part of our schedule is still yet to come.
Yeah, so it's gonna be over before then though. Like it's literally gonna be over. This week it's going to be over. It's the dagger. But like would you go and I know you're a believer, Max. I'm not a believer. I think he's canned ass. If he's available and the Browns don't sign him, would you be interested in giving Baker Mayfield at least Kirk Cousins money?
Absolutely. I would. I'd
Really?
be happy with that. Oh
Even
yeah.
even if he's coming off shoulder surgery.
I mean, it depends on the prognosis. I would listen to the physician, that makes that call if it's going to be 100% or what. I mean, but Baker Mayfield would be better than anything we've had in the last 10, 15 years.
I don't know. Like I think Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is better than him.
I don't know.
What do you think, Kenny?
I don't want
Or vodka.
I don't want a free agent quarterback ever again. Between Alex Smith and Ryan Fitzpatrick and 90-year-old geriatric guys with brittle bones, I'm sick of it. No more free agents. The thing is, we've been RG3 ruined our franchise. Dan Snyder ruined our franchise. RG3 ruined our franchise because he's in our heads now. RG3 is so in our heads, and he exists in our heads because we went all in on the shiniest object. He was the Porsche we were going to park at the mansion, but the Porsche caught on fire and it burned down the mansion. And now we won't buy.
I think
he got
trapped in. I think he got trapped in a sand trap.
Yeah. No. Well, one of the tires fell off, and then you were like, "Well, all tires were going to fall off all of our cars," and we refused to buy a new car. So we're buying these old cars that used to be good back in 1963.
So he's not a. Are you saying you're not a Baker Mayfield believer?
I think Baker Mayfield's good for Cleveland. If he's coming off major,
that doesn't mean he's good.
No, I would love to have him if he's not injured. I don't want him on our team now because then he has to learn a new offense. He has to learn new players. He has to realize our defense stinks. He has to realize our offensive line stinks. He's going to watch Antonio Gibson fumble footballs. He's going to watch sex scandals and steroid scandals and drug scandals. No. Buy a new car. Stop being scared. We won't draft a quarterback ever again because we're RG3. And then
Dwayne Haskins.
Well, that's so right. So the
you act like it hasn't happened.
I forgot about him because that was
he's so forgettable.
Right. Well, he's very forgettable. And the moment we went car shopping again, you're right. We picked the car with no wheels and strippers inside. And we were like, oops, there were strippers inside. And now we had to return that car to Pittsburgh.
I don't even think it was a car. I think it was one of those like shitty, not really a hoverboard. Not really a hoverboard. It's got wheels on it, but people like to call them hoverboards. It was that. That's what Dwayne Haskins was. It was a fraud.
A Segway.
A fraud.
It was he was a two-wheel tricycle.
He was awful. Awful. I wonder if he got his like $25K back from that Instagram model. That's what I want to know. Intriguing minds want to know. Did Dwayne Haskins get $25K back?
Haskins here. If we didn't hog in the mic during Haskins year, I would have had this every single game.
Yeah. You would be dead. You would have less hair.
So here in 10 we're on hogging the mic season, whatever, we'd be on 12 or whatever. And Kenny no longer has hair on the side of his head because he's pulled it all out. And Eddie has a gigantic beard full of crumbs. And my hair is just gray. And I've probably had like 3 heart attacks.
You think you're going to keep that hair, Max?
We'll
see. What do you think? What do you think of the odds on that?
What, like we need a pending wager?
Yeah. Are you think you'll go Kenny, or do you think you'll still have this luscious head of hair like me?
I think I'm good. My grandpa had some nice hair, so I'm gonna stick with that. We're gonna have Dwayne Haskins on season 12 of Hogging the Mic. We'll be able to give him like a $5 PayPal donation to get his fix.
I'm gonna see that bum on the corner next week in Baltimore.
We're gonna have him on the show and ask him why.
It's like,
that's
man,
it though. Why?
That's it.
Why?
Why are you? Why?
Why do you exist?
But I think all I'm saying is like that's all well and good, and I'm all about going in on a young a rookie quarterback. But if they're not there, that was the whole situation, Kenny. It's like if they're not there in the draft, if they're not there in the draft, and like you can't, there's nobody you're interested in trading for. You don't see your guy out there, and then Baker Mayfield's available. Do you give him Kirk Cousins type money?
No. You stick with Heine, and you clean up the Heine mansion. We need a free safety. We need a lot more linebackers. I would even take another offensive lineman at this point. We need mostly defensive backs and linebackers and a kicker. I think a kicker in the first right now at this point.
If you get an exciting young quarterback that people want to come play for, things solve themselves. They really do. You get Joe Burrow. He turns the Cincinnati Bengals into the #1 seed in the AFC currently because he gets all these nice shiny objects that want to come and play with him now. Nobody wants to come play with Ryan Fitzpatrick.
That's hurtful to Ryan
Humphreys
Fitzpatrick.
does.
Also, that's a very convenient. I understand. I'm a quarterback guy. Obviously, I have 417 jerseys. It's a very convenient point to make at this very moment in time where the Bengals happen to be in first. Let's talk in 10 weeks where the Bengals are 6-10, and then none of this matters.
Somehow Joe Montana's beating them again. He just came back, beat them, said you guys suck. But yeah, I think quarterback's going to be. I don't see the quarterback in the draft next year for whatever reason. I don't care how high they are. I think they'll go somebody and Heine. I think Kyle Allen will probably go the way of the dodo. And I just see a veteran coming in, and you'll probably have like a competition between him and Heine. And we'll see what happens. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. I just don't see them going into camp next year with just Heineke.
I see us get not a high-profile veteran, but just like a Geno Smith veteran. One that's like you.
Please not Geno Smith.
Well, I don't want Geno Smith, but like you've started before, you've been in the league for 7 years, you're our backup. Put Heine first, and this is once again, if a quarterback is not there to take during our draft pick, which is probably a top 2 because we're terrible, but if we don't draft a quarterback, Heine's the starter. Get a veteran. Shoot Fitzpatrick out behind a barn. Shoot Kyle Allen out behind a barn, and let's go with a 6. I've always wanted this. You go Heine. No, I've not always wanted Heine, but you go Heine, veteran backup. That's not high profile. 6th round rookie, 3rd string. Because what the fuck? He could be good. He could also be a 6th round rookie. And he's a 3rd stringer, probably not even be active half the games.
You're just looking for a Gus Frerotte.
No, you're looking for a Tom Brady.
I mean, yeah, right.
Happen. But you're looking for a guy.
Not everybody can deflate football so nicely.
Well, you're looking for a Heine. You're looking for another Heine. You want a butt sandwich. You want a Heine and a Heine, and with a veteran in between the butts. And the 3rd Heine is a free Heine, because that Heine you drafted in the 6th round. So we could do that for a few years until you get your drafted quarterback.
You're wrong.
I just don't see. I don't see you getting it either. I don't see them. I think if they get better in other places, they'll win enough games to keep them out of like the high end quarterback kind of area.
That's a funny joke.
They don't see themselves there that often. They don't see themselves there that often either. Like this last year would have been nice because it felt like there was a lot of quarterbacks that were decent in this last draft, but they were just on the outside looking in, like just barely.
It's interesting to watch the way football is currently evolving, though. You still have your old school Tom Brady's and Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan's. You know, they're still, doing their thing, putting up numbers, winning games. Well, Matt Ryan, not so much. But and then you have your young quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. They're doing their thing. It's kind of like we're in the middle of the old school and the new school trying to find like our identity. Like I don't think our team knows exactly what it wants to be yet.
That's because we're never in school, because we're idiots and our franchises just get F's.
And they're always
point toss,
5 to 10 years out of date.
Point toss.
It's just bad. I feel better. I think the quarterback spot has always been the spot that's kind of stuck out for Washington for almost forever. Other spots, I think, on the team, like there's places, especially on the defense, that you can see right now within the secondary and with the linebackers that definitely need work. Offense, I feel good about Gibson and McKissick, minus Gibson's fumbling. Like I feel like they're actually got like a decent little 1-2 there at the running back. Don't you guys feel like?
McKissick's become our Chris Thompson, which I love.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think Scott Turner recognizes that he needs to get him in the game, get the ball in his hands. Same thing with DeAndre Carter running these gimmicky plays, like it's moving the ball up and down the field. They just got to get their red zone stuff correct.
Get your fast, twitchy guys there in some space and see what they can do, and it worked out pretty well. If he doesn't fumble.
Yeah, exactly. We should have a lot more.
I'm feeling good about that, though. I'm feeling good about running backs. I'm feeling good about receivers a little bit. I really wish they had one more guy to complement Terry. Of course, he was supposed to have that this year, and it's not happened. And
on the bench.
And I said it was going to continue to happen this year. I don't know that we'll get too many more games out of him this year. Honestly, maybe you'll see it toward the end, and you'll be like, "Well, I wish we had this all year." But I think that's going to be during some just meaningless football games.
Are you talking about Cam Sims?
Yes, Cam Sims. Exactly. That's exactly who we're talking about.
Hey, all right. So I'd like to give a shout out to John Allen. He's one of the few players in the league that gets one of these high profile extensions, big money, and has actually played better.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We have somebody on our team that did that. It's like we have a bad of all these people we've paid big money to, then all of a sudden they suck. Like, it was so refreshing to see him just being all in Aaron Rodgers' face all day.
Speaking of big money and paying, are they going to pay Sheriff?
They're going to try. I
don't
like
think he's getting paid. I don't think
I
he's
feel like
getting
Sheriff's the probably the problem. Like, I don't know that he actually wants to be there, and I don't know that we actually want him there because we can't depend on him to be totally healthy. I think we're like far apart.
I don't think they need to pay that much for him. Like, I could even see them, like, if they really felt like it, going line in the draft, like at a high spot, if there was somebody who's really, really like Trent Williams level good that you could put on there.
We have a couple players that honestly at this point in the season we could try to offload before the trade deadline to get something out of them. I think like Sheriff for one, Tim Settle for another. We could get like at least a late pick to throw on 6-round quarterbacks like Kenny wants to do.
Landon Collins for a ham sandwich.
Yeah, I would give somebody.
That's a disrespect to ham sandwiches.
I'd give somebody Landon Collins and a 6-round pick for like their 2037 rounder. I
would give them Landon Collins and a 3rd-round pick to take Landon Collins.
Jeez.
Like, I'm so done with him. He's awful.
Pizza.
He's so awful. Like, there's everything about him I think about is just awful. Where else are they gonna need to draft? Because, like, I hate that we're already kind of in draft mode, but you got to assess right now. I think at this point in the season, especially with how bad they've been, who's actually good, who's going to be on this team long term, and who's just done. So, like, I think secondary is a big need, and I think linebacker is a big need.
Those are the 2 biggest ones by far.
Yeah. You want to each throw out like a keystone piece of our team that we think is going to be around for a while, besides the obvious ones?
They need to try to find a lockdown corner. I think a defense can play really, really well, and I think that front four will get so much better if they can find somebody that has the potential to be a lockdown corner. Like, if you see that there in the draft, I think you go for it. Other than that, they're going to have to go safety. Like, if you saw somebody that was just really, really good in the first 2 rounds with safety, I would go for it a million times over. I would maybe try to fill and plug in the linebacker spot through free agency, because you can probably get at least one good player, I would imagine, in free agency, depending on how much you're going to pay. But I think you could really focus on your secondary in the first 2 rounds of the draft this year, and the team would get exponentially better, especially if they don't lose that line. We
just drafted a linebacker, so drafting back-to-back linebackers, like,
exactly.
I would my number one right now. It's going to change probably a lot by the end of the year, but free safety. I think we desecrated Sean Taylor's memorial. Let's get another Sean Taylor.
I mean, if those grew on trees, that would be wonderful. But it doesn't. I don't know who the prospects are this year coming up, but I'll definitely.
I don't know any of the prospects.
I'll definitely have an eye on that this year, like, because that you got to hope for like at least a corner or a safety. First 2 rounds, if they're there and there's a good player, I think you go for it. Those are obvious holes that need to be like filled. And if you see that happen, and you see them actually get like just a little bit better, in the secondary and on the second level. Like maybe you'll see more production at that line. Like, but right now, like everything's open.
Honestly, I know what our big needs are. You kind of got to see how the draft board shakes out. Kind of like you don't want to reach just because you need a position, but you want to take a player that's going to fill a big need. So whether you need to probably have like your big board, and then next to it you need to have a big board of needs, and then rank.
We don't have a board big enough.
Yeah, rank like 1 through 5, like corners top need, linebackers second, whatever, and then like you do your big board. Whoever's sitting there at that time that fits the bill for one of those 5 positions, you take.
Yeah, I think that's what they'll do. I think they'll probably go best player on board with the first rounder, especially if they're in the top 4 or whatever. If the quarterback's there, I think you take them. If they're not, you go with your secondary and you make your team get better immediately. Hopefully that happens. But I think that's enough talking about that sadness for a little bit. Let's talk about this week's here in just a second. And just in time, one more game before the bye week. It's a much needed one. And, if you were having to pick the other opponent they might have a chance of beating, going into this stretch of games, you probably would have said the Broncos, other than the Saints. How are you guys feeling about this game? How are you feeling about Bridgewater?
I don't feel good about anything right now.
I'll say this. We're not good. That's my expertise analysis. But neither is Denver. Denver's a trash team as well. This is probably one of 4 games we have a shot at for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's the way it feels. I think this is they can feel a little bit better about themselves going into the bye week if they win this one. Maybe they get healthy. Maybe they think about all the bad things they've done and all the failure that they've been, and they come back and they play great past the bye. It's happened to other teams in the past, making that run after the bye, but I haven't seen any of those sparks of life out of this team to say that's going to happen. And I want to remain hopeful, but it's not too good.
I feel the same way. But
Kenny's just like, nah.
Like you said, I mean, the Broncos are not a spectacular team. I think they're kind of similar to us. Like their offense has some really good games. Their offense has some really bad games. Their defense is basically beyond average. So we're just playing a mirrored version of ourselves.
Yeah, and we get to play them, or they get to play them on Halloween. That should be great. Too bad. I wish that was at FedEx. I would have showed up in a very funny costume. I'm sure I would have figured something out. Maybe we could have all gone as Dan. That'd have been great. Satan himself.
We should have all dressed up, the 3 of us, as an island and then gone to the sidelines and then thrown Landon Collins off of it. Costume.
I did forget. Who are we kicking off the island this week? Who's your vote, Max?
Putting me on the spot.
Yeah, I think we forgot last week. We better go back to our island scenario. Landon Collins is dead. Dustin Hopkins died.
I voted off Scott Turner last week. I don't think you all casted a vote. You must have had your vote blocked.
I don't know.
Who are we voting off?
Are you going Davis?
Not quite. Just because we have so much invested in the guy, like I can't give up on him yet.
Jack Del Rio.
He's still young. He was supposed to be a project, so I'll give him a pass.
Jack Del Rio? No.
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the logical choice.
I'm gonna say it. I'm all out on Jack Del Rio. I just don't get it. I don't get how they went from being decent to being just this bad, like historically bad. When there's definitely talent on the team, but there's just some things you see and it blows your mind. I'm not saying that I know more about football than Jack Del Rio, probably don't, but it just looks like he's doing some foolish things and they just continue to happen. They're embarrassing. So I'm gonna go with Jack Del Rio as well. How about you, Kenny? Is he dying? We send him to the bottom of the ocean? It's our third murder.
Just need to know before I say this, do you have a stress ball handy?
You can't say Landon Collins.
Oh, no, I'm not saying Landon Collins, but it's time for
God.
Dancing with Uncle Ken. So
you're gonna throw your hip out again.
What?
You're gonna throw your hip out again.
I have to say it. I have to say it because I'm so mad. I'm so angry at what I'm watching, and that all falls on the guy I'm throwing off the island, Ronald Rivera. This guy was brought onto our team last year to fix everything.
Is it Ronald?
Off the season and on the season, mostly on the season. And I'm watching this team right now. I'm watching this team. We're 7 weeks in after a remarkable run last year, and we've regressed 50 steps backwards. Not 1, not 5, 50. We look like an 0-17 team. This last game, we look uncoached. Our players do not know what they're doing. There is no accountability. We are making just like minor league, bush league mistakes left and right. Ron Rivera was the guy that was supposed to fix this. Not only has he not fixed it, I feel like this is one of our worst seasons we've ever had with the small things. Ron Rivera is off my island.
So you're referring to Ronald Eugene Rivera? That's
Ronald Eugene Rivera.
So it's actually Ronald.
It is. Yeah, I looked it up while Kenny was on his rant. I had plenty of time.
I can't say that I'm out on him yet, but I've cooled a lot on Ronald.
There's gonna win my heart back.
There's some stuff that like I've seen, just like time management, giving up, some just random calls, really bothered me. The fact that the culture didn't really seem to change that much, considering he brought in drug dealers for his staff. It's just been bad. I know he was given like just a nuclear wasteland to build on top of, but he was given a lot of control, and I haven't seen it.
Kenny agrees with a lot of things he does. He agrees with him deferring. He agrees for him going for it on 4th down.
I told you I was going to say 2 nice things about him, and the rest, terrible.
Nobody wanted the nice things though, Kenny. We only want rage and
his in-game
vodka.
I was just getting at, you like his in-game coaching style. You don't like his everything else, pretty much.
No, I don't. I like 2 things. I like small little things that I noticed this last game. I hate everything about him right now. He's lost.
It sounds like a lot of Kenny's ex-girlfriends.
he had me. He had my heart. And you know what? We've broken up. It's Facebook official.
Like, I'm more out on Del Rio than I am him right now.
Del Rio sucks.
But
he brought in Del Rio. He brought in this guy. He brought in drug dealers, like you said. Nothing's working. Nothing. We're a terrible
He's on the plank.
football team.
I haven't put like he's like the step before you get like a few steps onto the plank. He's on that step right now with me. I haven't pushed him up onto the plank. I haven't voted for him, but he's in line. He's not too far behind Del Rio.
You know what I'm doing right now? It's one of those emotional scenes where he's hanging off the boat and we're like this, and I'm holding on to him, and he's looking up as rain pours onto his face, and he's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "You know why?" That's where I am right now.
Is he Leo and you're Kate Winslet? Is this what's happening?
We're about to get on the same plank. No, he's about to be off the plank while I freeze above water.
Yeah, Kenny is on something.
And it is big enough for the both of us.
It definitely was big enough.
Yeah. What a savage move. Kenny is onto something though, because Ronald Eugene is kind of the head of the snake, and if you cut off the head, the rest of the body goes with it, aka Del Rio, Scott Turner. So I can see what he's doing.
I'm looking at a snake with a clown body right now. Like, he's the head of the snake. It's a clown with a little snake mouth that does this.
But I don't see it changing. I mean, for all that was done, Dan was forced into doing a lot of things that have happened recently, and I think going with Ron was kind of one of them. They had to go with this guy that has like a sterling reputation, and would be instant kind of fodder for, they're changing their ways. I think that's a lot of why Ron got picked up, because he's known as a character guy. But I don't see any of this changing again, and it's sad because ownership is what it is. But we did get some good news in that, or maybe good news, some interesting news before we go into this week. Really deep with the Broncos. Like, what about the news that was what Congress getting involved with some of these texts, with everything that's going on behind the scenes, or that happened with the John Gruden situation? Like, how is Dan dodging all these bullets? People getting his ricochets.
I thought, yeah, exactly. I thought it was pretty cool that it got up to the government level, but trusting the government to get anything right is about like trusting Dan Snyder to get anything right, in my opinion. So I don't have my hopes up.
I can't get excited yet. This is more just like a smoke screen, I feel like. Let's give it a couple weeks, see where it goes, because Congress is getting involved, and then
which is wild, right? That's even a thing.
Which is wild, but the way this goes is Dan Snyder then gives Congress an HJ, and then we all just move on with our lives.
He's sitting there. Possible. He's literally probably sent half of Congress nudie cheerleader pics to start with. So.
Hopefully those days are over. He's a horrible person.
Weird. Congress look at their own emails in the chain, be like, "Oh yeah, I sent that one. Can't expose that."
He's moved on to sending pictures of his wife or something by now. I don't know what he's doing.
Why? That's too decent for him.
Maybe. I mean, she's stuck with him. It's like Triple H and Stephanie. Everybody thinks that Triple H is the good one. Is he? He's probably part of the problem too. But here we are. We got Del Rio almost. He's one kick in the ass. One more vote. He's going to the bottom of the ocean. And now Riverboat Ron is out on the plank. Two more, and he's at the bottom, sleeping with the fishes.
The defense was not awful though against the Packers. I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't awful. I mean, we went from having awful, terrible games you would never want to think about again to mediocre defensive performances.
I would say this. I think it's a step in the right direction. If you're putting it on a scale of 0 to 100, 100 obviously being great, like they probably moved up 10 points, and now they're about at 11.
Yeah, but the point differential in these games has been pretty bad. It's been pretty awful.
11 is.
This game was not the defense's fault though, not at all.
No, offense just couldn't finish. But here we are. We're headed into this game before the bye. We've got the Broncos, and I need to know what are you cooking up for me? I need to know the 6 sizzling keys to victory. Give me that cowboy dinner.
Here we go again.
Whoa.
So, dang, Eddie's trying to take out.
I got so excited. I got so excited about these 6 sizzling keys that I broke everything.
Jeez. So, I may have more or less than 6 keys every week, but we're going to keep calling it that because I like it.
Max, you need to do your homework. I need 6, minimum of 6.
Number 1. We got to get to Mr. Bridgewater. We got to make him get uncomfortable in the pocket. I've watched a couple of Broncos games this season.
Why?
When teams have had success against the Broncos, they put pressure on Teddy Bridgewater. So that's number 1. That'll cause him to throw a pick. I wanted to say we had a chance of getting Teddy Bridgewater. We could have went in on Teddy Bridgewater. His stats are very comparable, a little bit better than Heineke's. Okay, Kenny says no. Anyhow, number 2, they have kind of a dual-headed snake at running back, which my opinion, is led by Melvin Gordon. Dude's got quite a bit of talent. We need to keep him bottled up. Their biggest threat, probably on the entire offense, I'm going to say, is Cortland Sutton. And he's probably going to be running through our secondary while we're turned around looking at him. But if we can do anything to stop that, that'll be great. And so as far as the offense goes, I think what I watched and was the most frustrating thing against the Packers was that we could not establish a true run game with Gibson. I think really between the tackles, they're going to have to get some form of run game going, because you're starting to see people catch on to Heineke a little bit because they're able to drop people back because we're not a threat between the tackles.
It's because they get down too early, and then they're having to just send him up there and throw the ball down the field more. I feel like that's part of it. So stop deferring.
Good coaches like Bill Belichick, they continue to get their running backs involved. They continue getting the running backs involved throughout the game, even if they're behind. It pays off, trust me. Again, we'll go with number 5. It's going to be Terry McLaurin. Just get the ball to Terry. That can be number 5 and number 6, because I think if Terry McLaurin has the ball in his hands, good things happen.
Can you imagine if he had like a Kyle Allen thrown to him?
Josh Allen, you mean?
Or Josh Allen?
He doesn't want a Kyle.
I want a Kyle Allen too. He's already had that. He had a few touchdowns.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I meant.
Well, so quickly,
Buffalo
I
man.
gotta push the button here. We had this whole narrative going into the game about throwing the McLaurin all game, and first quarter that was the game plan. It was like 5 open receivers, McLaurin, and he had 85 yards and a touchdown, and then it was like, okay, enough. We're good. We went to him maybe like 2 more times total. Yeah. Keep beating McLaurin.
Like we said, get the ball to the playmakers. We have a few playmakers on our offense. It's McLaurin, it's McKissick, and DeAndre Carter. And then have you happened to notice Mr. Humphries? He tends to come up clutch on these like 2nd and 16s, 3rd and 13s.
Possession receiver spots.
Steals Jones too. Both those guys.
Yes. RSJ. Is Thomas coming back anytime soon? That was week 3 that he missed.
He's on IR. I don't know. Probably not for a bit.
He can come back after 3 weeks. I didn't think that was going to be like a long
season's over. Yeah. What's the 6th? Do you have a 6th one? Or are we only getting 5?
Well, I was saying we can give McLaurin 5 and 6, but McLaurin, we'll combine kind of McLaurin, McKissick, and the playmakers into 5 and 6, because there's a few playmakers there.
I'll allow it. I didn't want to lie to our listeners and not give them 6 keys. Like it was billed as that. By golly,
I'll have a list for you next time. A real list.
You better. I need them numbered, and you need to call out the number. Kenny needs to hold up the hand the whole time, because I lose count very easily. I get distracted. Speaking
of numbers, the spread. Broncos -3. So basically, like I was telling you, we're mirror images. This game on a neutral field would be an even spread. If it's at Washington, we're favored by 3.
I don't even know if anybody's like actually favored by anything at FedEx at this point. Kenny's favored to hurl somewhere in the premises at one point.
So we didn't really change much on our predictions. I think we all once again predicted us to lose against the Packers. We don't have any brave souls that predict us to beat the Broncos.
Can you read the results of the standings, please?
All right, here we are. Max 5-1. Eddie 4-2. Kenny 6-0.
Let it be said though. Kenny, who hates negativity, he acts like a man that hates negativity, but he breeds it. Look at him. Look at this man over there breeding negativity, acting like a freaking throw rug man.
That's the only thing he breeds.
Like here I was spreading positivity. I was remaining hopeful. Kenny, purely negative.
Professional realist.
Eddie's beard is growing by the week.
It's for a Halloween costume. But yeah, let's go with the picks. Let's see how optimistic you fellers are feeling this week. I'm gonna go to Max first, because I know Kenny's gonna get loud and put a hat on and some stuff. So Max, what do you got this week?
Well, we sit here and have a sad cast every week because how awful this team is, and for some ungodly reason, I think they're gonna win this week. I predict Washington to go into Denver and beat the Broncos 17-14.
Oh God, I'm not watching that game.
All right, fair enough. I don't know if I agree with you. Maybe you're a little bit more optimistic than I thought you were. How about you, Kenny? Put on your hat, get loud.
You don't want to go second? You want me to go second?
Yeah, you get the sloppy seconds.
Okay. Well, okay. So listen, in the spirit of Halloween.
Oh,
you think they're wearing the Orange Crush jerseys this week? Oh, God.
Last week, the Washington and I can't see you to interrupt me this time, so I can't be interrupted. Last week, the Washington football team went into Green Bay where they had the opportunity to win, but alas, they didn't. This week, they travel to Denver where they play a team equally as bad on a spooky Halloween. The Washington football team wins the game 31-26.
Jeez.
Weird things happen on Halloween.
Jeez. Kenny's saying they're winning. I don't know how to feel about this.
Oh my God.
I think just to try to save the season, I've got to go against the grain here. No matter what I think. If I'm going to come up on and get my comeuppance on you guys, Kenny's going to have to get an L. Max is going to have to get another L. I'm going to have to get a little bit more negative than I want to. But I'm fine with it. I'm going 14-31 Broncos.
God, that is like way pessimistic for somebody that sounded like they wanted to pick Washington to win.
I do.
You have us losing by 17.
You used to be so happy.
Yeah, and look who destroyed my happiness. It was you, Kenny. You're a real horse's ass.
I just wonder how Kenny has managed to stay sober drinking all that vodka.
That looks like a sober man. Oh God. Jeez. Anyway, before this gets too out of hand, final words, Max.
I would like to wish everybody out there a very safe and happy Halloween. I hope whenever I'm out trick-or-treating, I see some hoggies.
I don't think that exists, and that's a little weird, I think, to request. You might see something you don't want to see, or maybe you do. I'm not one to judge. And you think they're going to wear the Orange Crush jerseys, the Broncos, on Halloween?
That probably makes sense, right?
I think so. Like they should go throwback. They had great throwbacks. How about you, Kenny?
What color pants are we going to wear if they wear white or if they wear orange?
Just the brown ones, just in case. They're pooping everywhere. Kenny, last words before we put you down behind the barn.
Go team, go!
Will you look at that? Halfway there, or at least we're to the bye. It's not good. It's looking like our team is going to be done before we even get to sniff Thanksgiving. But at least we get candy this weekend. Hope you guys get candy. I'm definitely getting lots of candy. I'm getting fatter and fatter. I'm your host, Eddie Jenkins. Same for your other host, Kenneth J. Paltrow III, and Maximus Bacon, saying, remember, believe you can, and you're halfway there. See ya. Good God.